Hi friends, Amy Astrab with That Astra Stamping. I got my paper pumpkin kit for July in the mail yesterday and I can't wait to open it up and look at what's inside with you and get started creating this card. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera down and we'll get started. So this month's kit for July 2021 is called The Adventure Begins. You've got July 2021. Adventure Begins. Now, you will possibly note that when you pull out your instructions, it says June 2021. That is a misprint. This is the July kit. It's called The Adventure Begins, and these are the adorable tri-fold cards that you will make with this kit. So cute, so fun. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what's inside. I told you it is a tri-fold card. So here is the front of the first base. Here is the inside and the place for our sentiment to go. So it has two folds for a tri-panel or bifold. Here is another base card, also has two folds. So it has the 3-panel card. And here is number 3 with this beautiful lantern. Love this one. I think it's my favorite of all, but it's hard to choose. So that's what the card bases look like. We're going to have 4 of these trees. We're going to have 5 of these trees with a little sentiment tag attached to it. So I don't know if you can see that, but the sentiment tag is attached. We've got 5 of these circles, 5 of these pennant tags. We've got some beautiful sequins that coordinate with this set, as well as some dimensionals and some glue dots. And look at these envelopes. Are they not the sweetest thing? Just loving those. So what I want to do is go ahead and get started in creating. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Garden Green. Garden Green is our color for this month. That's your Stampin' Spot. And I almost forgot about the stamps. So let me show you these. Let me get something behind so you can see what we've got here. So we've got this great shaded tree for a background. We've got the cute pine needles that will stamp over top of this to make it look more Christmassy or like an evergreen. It gives it a lot more texture. We've got sentiments that say, let your light shine, explore, congrats. This one says dream big, aim high. This one says let the adventure begin. And this one says the world awaits you. So some really fun, unique sentiments in this stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started making the cards per the instructions. So like I said, this is what they should look like. You've got the little camper one here with the background that's so cute. You've got some mountains with the trees in the background that are showing through this circle. And then you've got this cute lantern with the little fireflies that you can stamp on there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am really enjoying these new colored directions that they have sent out. They are a little more informative, I feel like. There's still not a lot of written directions, but the pictures show quite well what it is you're wanting to achieve with each of these cards. So the first card they worked on here is the one with the camper. So we'll go ahead and start with that one. So we've got our camper card base. I'm going to go ahead and punch out the excess. So this just punches away. It's already pre-cut, and you just pop that out of there so that we can see this lovely panel inside. Got one more little piece to pop out there. So our camper is attached here to the front of the card. You open it up, you see this beautiful treed background, and then you've got the inside of your card. So what we're going to start with on this with this card is we're going to start by stamping pull this up here so you can see it. We're going to start by stamping these little pine needles on the tree that they included with the kit. So that is going to be this tree here. We're just going to punch one of those out. I'm going to go ahead and lay some scratch paper underneath. And I am going to pull out my large garden green so that I can keep this one closed up and save it for donating or giving to someone else. Next, I'm going to pull off the protective covering that is on the stamp. You'll note when you get these, this is like an acetate sheet. It's a lot more rigid, and that's what your stamps are attached to. This is a real flimsy film, and we're just going to pull that off. I'm going to take my chamois and I'm going to just wipe all of these stamps. This is the surface that receives the ink, and I want to just wipe any oils or packaging, film, anything that might be on it that will keep it from getting a good bit of ink on the stamp for a good clean stamped image. Sorry for the noise, but that is always a good tip. You'll get a much better image when you clean those stamps first. So let me find my paper pumpkin block here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull off this pine needle stamp. And we're going to go ahead and just ink that up. Now, if I were inking with my spot, I would probably apply the ink like that. Working with the larger ink pad, I'm going to go ahead and apply the stamp directly to that pad. It's just easier and less messy. And there we have some great texture to that tree. I think that gets, yes, that gets glue dots. And we are going to be stamping "Let the Adventure Begin" on that little pennant tag. So let's go ahead and get that out. Get one of these out. And I will go ahead and get that blocked up, and we'll stamp it as well. So clean off my tree. Now, if you were to make all of your cards the same and make them the same as what they recommend, I would go ahead and do all of the stamping of these elements all at the same time rather than one at a time. Well, and I am going to use my grid paper here to just line things up. Going to stamp once with this just to make sure, yes, I got a good image on there. Going to ink it back up again, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball where the grid lines would run through to get that straight. Now, what I have found, you'll notice that I went across instead of trying to get this straight. I have tried repeatedly to line this up and make it square with the grid paper and stamp it down and get a straight image. It never works for me. And I saw another demonstrator that recommended going like this at an angle, and by golly, it really does work. So if you have trouble stamping straight, give that a try. See if that doesn't work better for you than trying to get it all perfectly straight by using the square of your block. I think it just gets distorted when you're looking through it a bit, and It just, for whatever reason, does not work well. So now we've got our element stamped. We're going to go ahead and put our adhesive on the, they are showing, let's see, this is going to go, oh, we're putting glue dots on the front because this is actually going to go back here behind the camper. So behind where this is at is where we're going to be putting our little tree. So that being said, we want our glue dots to be behind this little camper. So what you could do is place them on the camper, or you can kind of eyeball and see where on the tree they need to go. You don't want your tree to stick out over here. So you need to make sure you're bringing it in far enough. And you want it high enough that you see some of the top of the tree behind the camper, because a camper is really going to hide a vast portion of this card, of this tree, I mean. So that being said, we'll just add a glue dot here. And we'll add a couple more. We'll put one about here. Yeah. And I'll put just one more, like over in here, maybe the tree. So, whoops. Get those out of the way. And again, like I said, you want to make sure your tree's going to show through as much as possible, but not hang over the edge of the card, or it won't fit in your envelope. So that looks pretty good to me. Go ahead and adhere it down. Okay, so we've got our tree adhered. Now we're going to use the dimensionals on the back of this, and they are showing 3 spaced fairly evenly apart. So we'll put one here, we'll put one towards the center, and one down here on this end. So I'll just go ahead and take the adhesive backing off. And I think rather than, they lined it up with the edge of the card, I think I'm going to bring it back just a little bit. I want, personally, just a little bit of that green to show at the edge rather than taking it all the way up to the edge of the card. Pull it back just a little. And I'm going to take a bone folder and just give that good crease there. This is going to have a good crease here. And now it is ready to put whatever sentiment I want to put inside. Now that would make either a good birthday card if you've got someone who is recently retired, maybe they're taking a special trip somewhere that they've been to encourage them along the way. So that card is done and ready. Super cute, but also super simple. So we're going to move on to card number 2. Card number 2 is going to be the one with the lantern on it. So I'm going to grab that card base. Again, I'm going to pop out the excess. There's some little pieces here inside of the lantern we're going to pop out so that it looks like it's see-through. And these pop out super easy. And there is the little handhold at the top of the lantern there. Now for this card, we are going to be stamping some fireflies in these little white spots here to make them look like they're glowing. We are going to be stamping the Let Your Light Shine, and that is going to go on one of the little round tags that came in this. So we'll pop that out. I'm getting a good, yes, a good stamped image with that. And I'll go ahead and get that on my tag. Now, if for some reason that did not stamp well, you could always flip that over, stamp it again on the back. But I think mine turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it. I'm going to go ahead and wipe any excess off of my stamp. Put that back on the sheet it came from. And I'm going to pull off the little firefly that they've got. Now they've got a firefly. They've also got what looks more like a butterfly. So the larger of the two, I think, is the one I'm going to use. It doesn't look like they used two different ones on here, but you certainly could if you wanted to. Just test that real quick. Yep, happy with the way that's stamping. I'm going to go ahead and add that there. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Or here. So I don't want them all looking too identical. And then this one, I'm just going to kind of go more up and down so that they look like they're flying in different. That back over there on the sheet. This is going to get some dimensionals, but per the instructions, they're showing putting them just on the bottom half of the tag. So making sure I'm working at the bottom half and not the top half. I will stick a couple of these on here. Now you'll notice when I open it up, I can't see any of my dimensionals. They're not overhanging anything. Now, if you wanted, you could certainly add a few more fireflies in here because they don't all light up at the same time. So let's just try that real quick. I'm going to add a couple of smaller ones to the inside here. Make them look like they're more in the background. Okay, to somebody about letting their light shine. Maybe they're off to camp or they're at camp and you want to send them just a little pick-me-up. Let them know that you're thinking of them. That is a great card to send for that. So card number 2, already done. We're moving right along. So now we are going on to this last one, which looks almost like a snow globe in a way. So we're going to punch this circle out. It's going to leave behind just the 2 trees. I'll go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to give this a good crease while I'm here. All right. There is our inside. Isn't that just the most beautiful thing? Looks like we've got a moon and some shooting stars in the background. It's just so peaceful and serene. Really liking this one. We're going to be adding the this tree that has the sentiment tag attached. So what we're going to do is pop this out. Tree. So I'm going to get some scratch paper and show you how they did that. Okay. Tree back out. Get it on. Just ink that up good. And they went like this. And even though this image is larger than the tree is, it still works perfectly. So you'll see the excess just went onto my scratch paper. You would never know that we used a much larger. There we go. I will just give that a quick test. Yep, looks good. And again, I'm going to line this tag up on my grid paper so that it is straight. And then I'm just going to try to center that as much as possible. And I can eyeball that I have about 2 squares from either end that are free. And then as long as it looks like it's fairly straight with the bottom of the tag, we'll push it down. And there we have it. Perfect. Now this gets a couple of dimensionals, it looks like. So they put one on either end of the tag, and so we'll get one here towards the base of the tree. We'll get one at either end of the tag. I for sure am going to go ahead and put one here. Let it rest there, but not adhere it down. And I put mine, this one was probably the better bet. But always feel free. This is your kit. You do it the way you like it. So we've got Dream Big, Aim High. Got our lovely area in here and our note card for signing. Now these also would be great if you have a lot of people you want to sign a card for somebody, because you've got 2 full panels here that could be written on and signed as well. So if this was a retirement type of card, or someone's moving on to a new job maybe, or leaving to pursue some kind of adventure, this would be a great one for the whole office to be able to sign and write a little message in for them. So that is the last of the 3 cards put together per Stampin' Up's recommendation. So here are our 3 beautiful cards.